Oh, finally, YouTube vinyl community. It is that warm that I can once again move out to the balcony. The balcony season 2016 is by here opened. No, this is not champagne, this is pure soda. Good enough for me. So welcome, vinyl community, to the balcony once again. And that is a proof that the summer is almost here. John Bellamy asked me when I'm going to move out to the balcony, and last year I did it in beginning of June, and today is 1st of June. So, and now we're having the kind of weather that is summer weather. It's been really warm today and yesterday, and it's really pre-summer right now. So it's a good idea to do a video again outside. And I thought it would be a good idea to do a New Year celebration. Last time I did a year celebration, I did it in form of a thread, because it was the same year when I started to collect vinyl in 1986. This time it's not a celebration like that. It's an ordinary celebration of a year. And this time it is the year when Nelson Mandela got freed, when the Soviet Union disbanded, when Germany won the World Cup soccer. Talking about the year of 1990. The year when I started high school, or gymnasium as we say here, and also quit 9th grade. So it was a special year, and musically for me it was a year where a lot of new things happened and started to develop and came into my life at the same time as I really like the year of 1990, because it is the start of something new, which was seen, as I said, in a couple of new music styles that was coming up, and it also had one foot in the old. I mean, the 80s wasn't all that long back, so that, I mean, you could hear a lot of 80s in some artists that returned, and some music style that still were popular. So that's what I like. Something new, something old. And it sounds really fresh and good. So with that, I hope that you will have a nice time remembering the year that was 26 years ago, 1990. I've collected singles and full-length albums as usual from the best and most popular stuff there was in 1990. I think that some of you in Europe remembers this hit. This was a pretty good summer hit, and that I actually really liked. 24/7 featuring Captain Hollywood, I Can't Stand It No More, No. And really great dance track. 24/7 then went on to become one of the more popular Eurodance acts during the mid-90s, even though I always preferred them in this early form with Captain Hollywood. I think I Can't Stand It is a little bit better than most of the things they did during 1993-94. But this is a great song, great dance track. And I always be weak for old 80s artists that comes back and does really good music, and people likes it and votes for them on the hit charts again, years after they've been there before. comebacks. And the comeback of this year for me was German group Propaganda. I have shown a couple of times their fantastic debut album, A Secret Wish. It contains P Machinery, one of the best songs ever. Fantastic album, fantastic songs, great synth pop. This year they went towards more popular style with I think the only one original member left, Michael Mertens. But still, they were really, really good, because Haven't Given Me Words was their hit that they had this year, and it was a really, really great pop song that were relaxing and came in the spring and was a really great spring song. So Propaganda made a comeback big. Going to the autumn, and I think you might remember Nelson, Matthew and Gunnar, the sons of Rick Nelson, who formed their duo Nelson and had, might call them, at least here in Sweden, a one-hit wonder. They had this hit single, Can't Live Without Your Love and Affection. I remember hearing this song, I thought it was so good. I recorded from the radio over and over again. So this one is great nostalgia from the autumn 1990. Trying to adapt to the new style in high school and at the same time listen to this great rock track. And I was also so happy that this girl made it big. Really great song from Kylie Minogue this year, Better the Devil You Know. Was one of her biggest hits actually here in Sweden. Also the B-side is a track from the Enjoy Yourself album called I'm Over Dreaming Over You, also a really great B-side. You remember Kevin Paige? Some of you might remember Don't Shut Me Out. I was very surprised that I found out that I actually don't have Don't Shut Me Out single. I need to get it fast. I was very shocked. But I actually liked even more, even though I think Don't Shut Me Out is a great song. I like even more the follow-up. I think I'm one of the few that preferred the follow-up single almost before the main single, as good as it was. Anything I Want, really great produced, very great melody. Really like this song very, very much. I wonder what happened to this to Kevin Paige actually. Just disappeared. Not a big fan of New Kids on the Block, definitely not. Not a fan of big bands, boy bands overall. But I had to admit, New Kids on the Block released 2 songs this year that I actually thought was really, really good. Step by Step, really great dance track with a lot of 70s style in it, and I liked it very, very much. And even more, I liked Tonight, a really great 60s sounding track that was very, very awesome produced. Maybe the best produced song that the New Kids on the Block ever did. We have Dan Reed Network had a big year in 1990. Here in Sweden, Rainbow Child was a big hit. And album Slam, also a great one. And the interesting thing is that the follow-up single from Rainbow Child was a song called Stardate 90. And the B-side on Stardate 90 also contains Rainbow Child. So you might say that they tried to live very big on their biggest hit. Swedish music. We had a couple of girls that I actually like a lot. I think they did great music. Talking about Lili Susie, who had a great year 1990. Their biggest hit single was What's the Color of Love. Great bubblegum disco pop. And I actually have 2 sleeves of this single, 2 versions. This is the same song but different sleeves. And of course we have to have some Madonna. I mean, Madonna walks like a thread through each and every year celebration I do. It's hard to avoid her, you might say. Vogue, of course, big hit this year, and also Hanky Panky from Unbreathless album. Uh, I think that this is definitely not Madonna's best song. I think that the big band style, the horns and the trumpets sound so plastic and so fake that it's a little bit cheesy. So sorry Adam 87, but I think this one is, in my opinion, one of Madonna's weaker songs from these best years in her career. But turned out good anyway. She became even better later on. We have Adamski, Killer. Oh, a sudden hit. I remember when this one entered the tracks chart, the radio chart tracks, all of a sudden after the summer break. And I never heard that song before. What is this? I never heard the song before, but it's really, really fantastic produced, and it was so fantastic produced. Also the debut of Seal, who sang on this one, and he also was writing for the song. So. Unfortunately, this was one of the few songs that Adamski had that I think was great. The album was a very big disappointment. But I was talking about a lot of new styles that came into my life, and one of them was the dance music, more techno-like dance music. And I think it was one autumn when I was listening to radio. They had a program called Metropole, and they had a part of that program called Flip eller Flop, where they will go into three artists or producers would guess whether or not a new song would be a hit or failure on the hit charts. And I liked that part of the program because it was a good chance to discover new music, and it was very interesting to listen to their discussion what made a hit. What was it that in that song that they thought would be a hit. It was very interesting for a musical nerd like me. And all of a sudden they were trying out a new song. There was some synthesizer sounds that went out, and my jaw was on the floor. It was one of the most fantastic stuff I ever heard, and I didn't know one bit what it was that was played. I just thought to myself, I gotta have this one recorded on tape. So I recorded it fast, even though I had no clue what it was. And it was one of the most fantastic songs this year I ever heard. This production really knocked me down. And then I wished for this song. This song became a hit. So I was lucky to hear it once again. And I wished for it in Christmas present. And I was so happy when I opened up my present and found my wish song, KLF, What Time Is Love. I really, really love this song very, very much. So this one is very much nostalgia from 1990. I still think it's one of the best produced songs for this year, actually. Now let's move on to the albums. 1990 was also the year when I, for the first time, went outside Sweden. I went on a school trip with my class from 9th grade to Copenhagen in Denmark. And it was a very exciting trip filled with a lot of excitement, new things that I've never seen before, unlucky love. It was a great school trip. We went back to Malmö in Sweden. That was the place when you went to boat at the time. The bridge wasn't invented yet. So we went with boat from Malmö over to Copenhagen, and we spent a day, I think, in Copenhagen, and I went into a record store in Copenhagen and felt like now I want to get rid of some money. So I bought a couple of stuff. For some reason, I bought it on CD, but I guess it was the cheapest at the time. Heart Brigade, because I love the song All I Wanna Do Is Make Love to You. And then I remember that a guy in the class and I shared room with, we were sitting in the at the hotel room and discussing the lyrics, and he looked at the lyrics and thought this was pretty sinful. Well, Jorgen, what kind of lyrics is this? But I think it's a great album, and of course filled with nostalgia from this trip. And at the same time, I also bought in Malmö, I bought Depeche Mode, Policy of Truth. So this one is also very much connected with this trip. And while we added Depeche Mode, why not continue with the rest of the singles from Depeche this year? Their comeback year. You have Enjoy the Silence, of course. And you have one of their best songs, World in My Eyes. Their 3 hit singles this year. And of course, Personal Jesus is also from the same album, but that one came in 1989. And that's for another program. And of course, I've shown this one time and time again, but it is fantastic. Definitely the best album this year, in my opinion, Depeche Mode, Violator. And the synth pop was really back again. Well, that's what I tell you. 1990 was the year when something new came into the music business, and a lot of old stuff also continued to work, and synth pop was one of them. Because the Pet Shop Boys also came with a new album, Behavior. Even though it was a little less synthesizer, it still sounded very much Pet Shop Boys. And especially in the hit single So Hard. But this is a really great album, very special. You have great tracks like How Can You Expect to Be Taken Seriously, a great track. My October Symphony. You have Being Boring. What a great single that is. And the ballad Jealousy also, maybe the best ballad Pet Shop Boys ever did. Highly recommended. Behavior, Pet Shop Boys. And more synth pop, because it was the breakthrough year for The Beloved and their album Happiness. And I really loved the song Time After Time when it came. Really relaxing, and I still think it's one of the most relaxing songs from 1990. So really well made. And 1990 was also the year when I started to discover soul music for real. I think it started with on New Year's Eve when they did a little mix on Swedish radio of the best soul happenings during the 80s. And I've listened to it very closely. I thought this was really great music. Then I felt like in Sweden we had a radio program called Soul Corner with Mats Nileskär, who sounded like this, with really cozy voice. And he did a special program about the soul group Family Stand. And Family Stand is containing Peter Lord, among others, who produced Paula Abdul's Spellbound 1 year later. But I really love all the songs that you played here. I recorded Ghetto Heaven, Twisted, In Summer I Fall, Little White, Little Black Lies. Really great songs from this album, and I was so happy when I was able to find the entire album. So I must say that this led me into the soul interest I have today. And of course, it helped also when Whitney Houston released I'm Your Baby Tonight, produced by L.A. Reid and Babyface. Also an awesome soul track. So this really helped me getting started with the soul interest I have of today. Continuing with one of the best bands that I know that I listened to today, talking about Fleetwood Mac and their album they released then, Behind the Mask, and Save Me was the hit single, a really great single. Even though maybe not the strongest Fleetwood Mac album, still a great Fleetwood Mac album. George Michael, Listen Without Prejudice, an album that I disliked from the beginning. I thought it was pretty boring, but I changed my mind a bit today. I think it's a really great album today. And 1990 was also the year, as I said, when I started listening to dance music a lot, thanks to What Time Is Love. And let's show some of the best dance music from 1990, because it was a year when house music, British house music, really was in its ace and were maybe one at its best, actually. Delight and World Clique containing the hit Grooves in the Heart. We have Mantronix, This Should Move Ya, containing a fantastic dance track called Got to Have Your Love. Really, really fantastic produced. I think many of you remember Blue Pearl and Naked. I've shown this one before. Naked in the Rain, Little Brother. Really great song. Really great album, really great album. And of course, Soul to Soul and Jazzy B, Volume 2, A New Decade. We have Get a Life. We have People, Missing You, A Dream's a Dream. Really, really great and relaxing album. So, that was my 1990. And as a tradition, I usually says which song that was the most selling song in Sweden this year. And I can't show it because I don't have it, and I don't want it because it's a song that I never liked. I think it's a pretty horrible song. And but the most selling song in Sweden this year was, of course, Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You. I prefer Prince version much, much better. But this was my 1990, and the beginning of the balcony season, when I had have the possibility. So with that, I hope that you have enjoyed my little nostalgia trip, and that every one of you have a nice continuing of the week. I have a contests that I'm going to do. I'm going to try to make a response for James Griffith's contests also. And with that, I hope that you have a really great time. Take care and bye-bye.